Crystals again was created using RPG Maker XP for RPGmaker.net's 4th birthday contest, which means this game was designed in less than 4 hours. As such, this game does contain a few elements of bad design that I'll get around to discussing in a bit, but it shouldn't be counted against this game too much. But first, I'd like to take a look at the narrative. The story of Crystals again is rather simplistic. You play as a party of adventurers who are on a quest to collect 4 elemental stones, in order to present them to the princess for her birthday. And while this setup is simple, the reason behind this choice was to make a joke about old school games like Final Fantasy 1. Sadly, this game doesn't strike me as particularly funny, considering I've seen games built around a princess putting on furs and strapping a blade to her back in order to impress a boy into becoming her boyfriend. Because of this, I can't find any real amusement in changing a world-saving plot to something as mundane as collecting objects for the sake of a birthday present. On the gameplay front, you have your standard turn-based RPG with random encounters. As such, this game isn't anything particularly special, but for a turn-based fanboy, this game works well enough. And while the early battles are relatively challenging, the game quickly shifts gears into being way too easy once you've managed to scrap enough money together for some quality equipment. And one of my minor beefs with this game is the shop prices are rather insane. All of the best pieces of equipment in this game feel horribly overpriced in the face of the second best weapons and armors. The second best equipment is all only slightly weaker than the best in terms of stat points, but can rarely save you anywhere from 40 to 100 gold coins if you buy them instead. This issue also plagues the item shop as well, with the healing potions being extremely cheap, while the antidotes will cost you an arm and a leg. Usually this is the other way around. And continuing on the line of minor issues, the overworld map is extremely lacking in terms of boundary lines. While it was nice that the game does provide the player with mages to warp the player from the main island to the various dungeons, this process isn't that much of a time saver considering you can simply walk across the ocean like you're Jesus. On the visual side of things, the game does alright for itself. The maps never feel needlessly crowded, nor do they feel plain and devoid of life. While the only noticeable hiccup in terms of layout is that the entry point for the beach isn't visually obvious, but it's not impossible to find if you have a little patience. In terms of sound effects and background music, the game was just there. I know that it existed, but I'd be hard-pressed to recall any of it from memory. Crystals again isn't a bad game in my opinion, but it isn't anything particularly special either, even in the face of the short time limit it was made. On the comedic side of things, the game feels like a waste in my opinion. The concept of adventurers setting forth to find objects usually used to save the world in order to present them to a princess for something as mundane as a birthday present could have been a rather fun, if not meaningless, romp to dust off one's blades and polish their staff. But in the end, the game doesn't really seem to have anything else going for it to get a laugh out of the player. This is a game that really could have benefited from some of the banter between the playable characters like in Quest for the Ultimate Cake, or from some of the mind-numbing insanity of Lovely Sword. With that being said, the game is rather short and may make for a decent time killer if you're looking for a game to pass the time by with.